All right, welcome to the State of Stratics address. I'm Ryan Nielsen, or Ron Braun, the new owner for Stratics. We've got several of our staff members here today. You can see them at the bottom of the screen, and we'll hear from them a little bit later. But the purpose of this hangout is to just have a conversation about the health of Stratics, the development plans, the future, and to provide an opportunity to the community to interact with the leadership of the website, set the record straight, have a semi-formal off-script kind of conversation. Several of you posted questions on the forum, which we really appreciate, so we'll try to answer some of those as well. So the way this will work is I'll give a little bit of a outline for Stratics, and then we'll answer some of those questions from the forum, and then open to a group discussion, just open format for those who are tuning in, who are in the Google Hangout or are connected via Stratics TV or Twitch.com or Twitch TV/Stratics. So So we recently celebrated, we're very happy to have celebrated the 17th anniversary for Stratics. So that's why we've kind of planned to do the State of Stratics around this time as well. We celebrated this year with the Extra Life event, which was put on by Les Kurthag, as you'll know her from the community, and also by Flutter, Beth, who is in charge of our social media. So I'd like to congratulate the community because we were able to raise $415, and that money went to children who needed it, and we're very happy that this is one time a year where our gaming actually has some benefit to the wider world. So thank you again. And we'd also, this is a good time for us to reflect a little bit on how far Stratics has come, having been founded in '97, and kind of along with Stratics was originally formed along with Ultima Online as a fan site, and is now the longest continually operating massive multiplayer fan site on the web. So we have a lot to be thankful for, a lot to be excited about, and to be proud of. And there's this huge heritage with this website and some very dedicated community members that have made all of that happen. Stratics has gone through several changes in ownership over the years, but it's survived, it's flourished, it's grown throughout the whole thing. So of course, recently Stratics was passed to myself. I'm the owner of a company called Bizarro Community. So when I say I'm the owner, I actually just formed this company in July. So I'm the owner, but I'm also the only employee of Bizarro Community. So Bizarro Community was formed as a way to encourage peer-to-peer interaction among massive multiplayer RPG players. So obviously that community, when we talk about the massive multiplayer community as a whole, it's growing very fast, and it's in need of platforms to help people to interact, because of course the reason we play massive multiplayer games is because we like to interact. So Stratics fits into that. Stratics has a very important part in that, and we've been a part of that since '97, which is really cool. So why did Bizarro Community become interested in Stratics? For those very reasons. The values that Stratics has are congruent with the values that I was trying to create for Bizarro Community, which until September timeframe, I was working on building as a completely independent community until the opportunity presented itself to merge ideas with Stratics and hopefully apply some resources to help Stratics grow and build an even stronger community than would have been possible otherwise. The values and mission of Stratics are publicly available on the forums. We say that the mission is to serve players, assist developers, and promote games. We have a vision of becoming the mainstay of support for the games we represent, and we do that by creating a lot of valuable resources, focusing on the community, building up a professional volunteer staff, and really working to represent the community and the demands of that community. So those are the very same things that I endorse, that I'm excited about, that caused me to want to form Bizarro community and to become involved with Stratics. So I'm very thankful to have this opportunity to be a part of the Stratics team. I have, as many of you know, I have not been a part of the Stratics community specifically until recently, but I have been a part of the massive multiplayer online game community for years now. So I actually got introduced to massive multiplayer gaming by Ultima Online back in the early 2000s. So my brothers and friends and we got into the game. We're really excited about it. Used to play it a lot and had a lot of fun participating with Ultima Online. And since that time, it kind of created a little bit of an addiction for myself when it comes to MMO gaming. And I'm a participant in some other games now. I've played World of Warcraft, Guild Wars, getting into EVE, and some of the current staff members have introduced me to Firefall, which is a pretty fun one. So I call myself a massive multiplayer gamer, and I owe that to Ultima and the heritage that Ultima has that started. And I would say maybe it wasn't the first massive multiplayer game, but certainly one of the most influential. And so Stratics is right there with it. Stratics has that heritage, and of course that's another thing that attracted me to Stratics, was that close connection and nostalgia from Ultima Online. And I'm very excited that community is still very strong, and that we have an opportunity at Stratics to help build and support the Ultima Online community. So what's in store for the future of Stratics? Some of it you've already kind of seen happening. Maybe it hasn't been completely, you've had hints of what's going on. So we've had we just finished a transfer of ownership, which of course involved a transfer of the website. So we had to move the entire website from the Valor Corp servers over to new servers for Bizarro community. And though there's some hiccups along the way, as is expected with any server migration, overall it went fairly smoothly, and we're excited about it too, because with the new servers, we're being hosted by Rackspace. We have very strong server network set up, several servers supporting the website now with kind of redundant systems. Very scalable system, so as the community and the website grows and the computing demands of Stratics grow, our servers can grow with it. And that's a really cool thing for us, and because really what we'd like to see is a significant growth and support of all MMO gaming communities. So what are we working on now? And what's kind of phase 2? Well, we've got our resident tech guru, Kurthag, who's flashing the peace sign now, and she's working very hard behind the scenes, setting up sand. not too hard though, right? Yeah, but she's working on setting up a sandbox for this for kind of a new and improved website. We have, as we said, Stratics is 17 years old. Some of the databases that are involved with Stratics are out of date, and we're trying to bring the website, yes, a little bit out of date, and no longer supported is a way to put it too. So the building a website that brings those databases up to date helps to improve the user interface and improve the overall flow of the website and user experience, and also start to roll out some cool new features. So we are very excited about it. We want to have a more unified website as well. Right now we've basically got 3 sections, I'd say, to the Stratics website. You can go to uo2.stratics.com and get to your guides and UO related news. You can go to Stratics Central, and then you can see some articles and such, and then you can click over to the forums, and you kind of get different experiences if you go to these different locations. So we're trying to unify Stratics a little more, make it easier to get to the information that you want to get to, whether you're playing Ultima or you're playing Firefall or you're playing Shroud of the Avatar. We'd like you to be able to come to this website and get to the resources that you're looking for quickly, and also have have excellent support of that community. So some of the cool things we're doing is we'll probably be hosting a competition here, which we're gonna have more details on in the future. After we've got things a little closer to ready for launch for the new website, but trying to bring back some more of the personality that Stratics was known for over the past years with the steampunk theme. So we'll have kind of a design competition to help get the community involved in a new facelift for this website, so we can get some personality in it. And the new website, when it's ready, is going to have a lot of community platforms that are not there currently, or enhanced support. So if you can think of where now we do have some limited guild support features, like with related to the forums. So we're going to kind of build on that a little more. We're going to allow more features for the guilds. We'd like for other people to be able to create groups, people with the premium accounts to be able to create groups that are kind of self-moderated groups where people can have the discussions they want to have, share files, share videos, and form smaller communities within the broader Stratics community. So that's going to be a really exciting thing. I mean, maybe a way to conceptualize it is if you think of LinkedIn, or you think of Facebook groups, and then you can kind of get an idea of what Stratics groups will be able to provide for you. So that'll be really neat for guilds, for individuals. It'll be a lot easier to have one-on-one interaction with people and also interact within a group. So that's kind of phase 2. That's going to be a near-term thing. We're not going to announce a release date right now, but we're working very hard on that, and in the near future you'll start to see some of those cool features rolling out. Phase 3, I'd say, is kind of more of an expansion phase. Trying to, after we have this new platform that's able to scale and able to and has a good user interface, and now we'd be looking for to expand and support more and more communities. So we'd be going through a massive hiring and marketing kind of campaign, and we've got a lot of cool games coming out. Shroud of the Avatar is one to get really excited about. It's coming out in the next couple months. I don't think they have an official release date right now, but they were targeting towards the end of the year. So gearing up to support those communities will be a really fun thing, and this is going to involve reaching out to developers, forming similar relationships with them as we have with Ultima Online right now, which has been a very good thing for us and a very good thing for Ultima Online also. So what are we going to do to get there? Well, we've got an awesome staff. You can see, again, you see them all lined, not all of them, but we see a handful of them plugged in today. And I'd like to give some acknowledgement to, first of all, I will acknowledge the staff that have come before that have got us to this point already, and we're very thankful to for the contributions that they've made up to this point that have built and grown the community so far. And now with the new ownership, we have a lot of great staff members that are stepping up and helping to realize this vision of a stronger community, and that includes Kurthag, who we've mentioned, who is our resident tech guru and nerd, and so we also have Nexus, who's plugged in. He's going to be helping us out with the forums and all forums, Ultima Online forums, Shroud of the Avatar forums, everything, getting that going. Working along with Nexus is Zuckus, one of our new forum admins, and then also Cerno, who's not plugged in today, but she's also going to be around helping out and helping get the forums to where they need to be. On the editing side of the house, we have Larissa, who is with us today, and helping out with the Ultima Online editing, which is not a small task. Especially, we got, like we said, bringing this new system on with the more accessible guides and helping to enhance and grow the guide system. She's going to be a big part of that. Her along with Lord Gareth and Oscar the Grouch. So very, very happy to have such a great team. It's really an awesome testament to the strength of this community and of massive multiplayer online gamers that we have so many people willing to step forward. Just this is service. This is volunteer work, and all these staffers are working very hard to bring the Stratics community a better user experience and make gaming overall better for everybody. So very happy, and there's also going to be, of course, some we're going to be trying to implement some business strategies that will help the website out as well, because of course in order to get growth there has to be money to back up that growth. So we will be seeing some, along with these new features we're rolling out, a lot of services that people will be able to subscribe to. One thing that we've seen that we're prototyping that's been really cool is this TeamSpeak feature that right now is free to the community to use. We have a very limited server set up right now, but when we start getting a lot of these group features going, there's going to be opportunities to strengthen the website through subscription models and ad revenue and so forth. So exciting times ahead. Now I think we're going to transition over to a question and answer session. So we did have people submit questions on the forum, and if they are in the chat, they're welcome to expand on those questions as we answer them. But otherwise, I'm going to read the question, and then we'll try to give a stab at it. So the first question came from Captain Norrington, and Captain Norrington asked, will Stratics be more focused on building up the communities of the games that are already hosted on the website, or expanding the forums to other types of games and communities like PlayStation and Xbox? So, very good question. The first priority of Stratics will always be to fully support the games it has chosen to host already. So we are not a general gaming website. We are focused, and we have a limited amount of community resources, and we also, I believe that the gaming community as a whole is a little bit different than the massive multiplayer role-playing gaming community. So it's important to keep that focus in the website as we move forward. so that we can make sure that we're giving the correct attention and support to the community and meeting the needs of the MMO community. So we will be looking for opportunities to support new MMOs. So, that, like I've already mentioned, Shroud of the Avatar, that's kind of already there. But as new games come up and as they start becoming prominent, we're going to try to be there along with them and support those communities. The next question comes from Dag Nabbit, and he asks, what are your benchmark goals for 3 months, 6 years, 1 year, and beyond? So, and I'm going to say, as we're going through these questions, if any of the staff members want to jump in and add their 2 cents, you're very, very welcome to. And if anybody else, again, please ask your questions in chat if you have them, so that we can make sure that we're answering your questions correctly. So, 3 month goal: launch the new Stratics website. 6 months. I'd like to see the website expand via mobile apps. That's somebody else asked the question later on, right? So Stratics needs a mobile app. I agree, and we will have one. So mobile app, try to expand a little more with TeamSpeak, and also massive hiring, as we mentioned. So growing the staff, growing the community support.
Before you go on, Ryan, I want to backtrack a little bit back to what Captain Norrington had asked about the community and the expansion to other games and communities like PlayStation and Xbox and stuff. Stratics is mainly MMO, and I do know a lot of games like ESO, Diablo, they also cross over onto the console systems. But I think we're a little bit more focused, and Stratics always has been more focused on the PC side of things. So I think that's where we're going to stay, is PC. For the games that cross over, of course, tips, tricks, some guides may be put in place, but I'm not going to go and research cheat codes for everything, and I don't think anybody else is. So there may be some crossover. It really depends on who's contributing, and that's really what we're looking at doing insofar as Stratics, is to have the community contribute more. I think that's, Ryan, what you were trying to relay earlier in regards to, we're going to have a contest, and members of the community are going to be allowed to participate in that contest for the look and feel of the new Stratics site that I'm building. So that's our really, I think, also working with part of our benchmark is to have more community involvement, not just staff. Staff is, of course, we're here and we help make everything run, and we tweak things and make them all better. And if it makes it worse, we fix it. But we're a community, and we're only members of the community helping serve other members of the community, as well as the developers and the producers of our games that we love so much. Now, are we going to be a MMORPG type of website where we cover all these games from all over the planet? No, definitely not. We love very specific games. We play very specific games. We play a specific type of games. We're still trying to figure out what that type is, but for the most part, it's MMO on the PC, Ultima Online, Shroud of the Avatar, EVE Online, what else? World of Warcraft, Diablo. Those are our core games right now. And we want to focus and develop those communities and then expand in a natural way, not just tell everybody, okay, now we're going to cover Joe Blow's game from blah, blah, blah. We're not going to force people into a game. And I think in the past that was, something that a lot of community members felt, is they were being forced to do things in a game they had no idea. So we're going to grow naturally and slowly, not like huge leaps and bounds to try to compete with, the big daddy websites that do news and industry stuff. And we're not like that. We're a community. We're gamers. I'll shut up now.
Thanks, Les. Awesome. Okay, so what are we looking at then in kind of the 1 year and beyond time frame? So and I would say an equal level of support for a select number of games. Like Les mentioned, this isn't every game in the universe. This is a handful of MMO games, and it'd be awesome if we could get an equal level of support for a couple other games in addition to Ultima Online, and then start growing from there. And eventually I think we will. We're gonna see some great growth in this website, but it's going to be very, as Les said, very organic, kind of natural and fully supported. So next question comes from Flutter, and I'll say it's from Flutter and Company. Question being, how awesome is Flutter? So I'm not going to answer that question directly, but I will say that when Flutter fights zombies, she wears bunny slippers and a nightgown, and I think that's a pretty good indicator of her coolness level. So, all right. So let's go on to the next one comes from Scribbles. Will there ever be an auction to post auctions in that right now are being handled by the forums? So this is, I'll say this is not a short-term goal, but it is something that we have been talking about. I don't know right now if we could give a definitive about whether or not we'll end up building actual full auction features for that kind of interaction, because that requires also some close cooperation with the video games, and we're going to of course work with the developers and see if that's a service that is something that they would value for their game or not. A lot of newer MMOs are kind of coming out with those features built in to the game as well, so it's also a matter of how much appeal would that kind of service have, and so it's something we're considering. That's all I can really say in that regard, but it's not.
A lot of it has to depend on the technology that's involved with the particular game.
Yeah.
Right now on our forums, we have kind of we have the auction board, and I know a lot of our UO players, even me myself, I've gone in there and I've participated in some auctions that rely on a lot of integrity and honesty for the participants. And periodically, we've noticed there are problems periodically with participants where they want to redact all of their bids, and it totally messes up the entire auction, and people get upset. It's a forum, it's not an auction. Doing something a la eBay is way out of the scope of anything that we can do right now, particularly for UO, because of the technology involved with the UO game. That's something that Ryan over there will be talking to Broadsword about in the future. Yeah, I'm backwards, so I gotta move things. But that's one of the features that we're looking at, is to not broker those auctions, but to provide an avenue for players to communicate better with their auctions, what they're auctioning, how people bid, and to kind of sort of set up something where, again, it's a trust and integrity thing with the people participating in an auction. So what we can do on our side, technologically wise, is to kind of work on something that me and Nexus and maybe even Zuckus are going to be working on with our forums. We're hoping that maybe the tech will come about where we can actually put it into something outside of our forums. But we're looking at some things related directly right now to with UO auctions in the forums, to help show people an integrity level or a reputation level, so that when people say, okay, here's an auction by this player, they have a pretty decent reputation, I feel more secure in bidding. And the people who are running the auctions, when they see a player, they're like, okay, this person has a pretty decent reputation, I can take on that bid as being trustworthy and being a real bid. So that's something that we're working on the forum side. But in the far future, and this will probably be like next year or something, we might have something outside of the forums for auctions.
Okay.
I'll shut up again.
So the next question from, again, this is still from Scribbles, is will there ever be a PvP section on Stratics? And the answer is that there will be as many sections on Stratics as our community has imagination and willingness to support. And what I mean by that is with the new system, like I was talking about, where users are going to be able to have, if they want, an account, maybe a premium level account, where they can create these groups for themselves. So there could definitely be a player versus player group, and that could be specific to Ultima Online, or it could be a general MMO PvP group, depending on who made it, and then you could kind of set the rules and set the tone for conversations that you want to have happen in that group. So there's also, depending on how things go, there's always room. PvP is a huge part of MMOs in general, so there may be room in the official moderated forums for PvP type discussions as well. But that's something that we'll have to talk with. We got Nexus here as well, so he can he can talk to that if he wants, or as the forums grow, we can kind of assess the demand for that and see if we we ought to open up a forum for PvP. So will EM events ever be categorized into a calendar format so we can see all shard events on one calendar? And the new Stratics, again, a lot of the way I'm going to answer what you'll find is a lot of the answers I'm giving are going to kind of be tied to this new Stratics format and what Les is working on right now.
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me answer that one for you, because
Sure.
that gets into sort of user privileges on our current Stratics forums. EMs, as well as staffers and members from Broadsword, have special access into our forums, kind of like they're their own mods. The forums do not support a calendar format with little calendars and stuff like that. What we can do, though, is similar to schedule of events on Stratics.tv, which we manage through Google Calendars. If Broadsword wants to implement Google Calendars, by all means, we'll post it in a place so that all the events can be shown. Maybe they have a private calendar or something, we don't know, and that's stuff that, of course, Ryan will be talking to Masana over at Broadsword about as we, tweak some of the features between us and them and the services that mesh and what we can do for our UO participants in our community. It's we want to have a little more back and forth with Broadsword as well as any other game producer. So it's that's something that is indeed feasible. Within our forums, not so much. However, I'm sure I can get with Nexus and Zuckus and prod them to go do some research in the Zenforo. That's our forum, Zenforo, and have them do research in the add-ons and stuff. And as long as it doesn't conflict or cause issues, we can implement them if there is a calendar module. So there you go, guys. There's a task for you. Write that down. He's writing it down. Yay! But right now we don't have that feature in our forums. And that would probably mean the EMs would have to have special permission to be able to go on and edit and add those things. I know in the past there was a calendar thing, so maybe we can talk to some of the Stratics alum and see what happened to that, why it was taken out. So maybe go ahead next.
The calendar we had before was when we were still running vBulletin. So,
that was vBulletin. Okay, no problem.
vBulletin. And
Yeah.
it's like you were saying, we can definitely work. If I'll look and I'll get me and him will get together and we'll look for a plugin. And then when it's done, we'll see how feasible or easy it is to set it up so that event moderators can edit it themselves. Because right now, anytime they do an announcement, they're having to contact one of us to come and stick it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and we don't mind doing it. We absolutely do not mind. I'm even actually going to have a chat to see if we can't. Maybe it might be feasible just to be able to give them sticky power within your own event moderator form.
I had thought about that, but that's all stuff we can talk about,
We thought
a
about
little
that.
bit later. Um, okay, Queen Mom's got to step out. Hey, Queen. So,
No,
yeah, that's the correct answer is we got to research it, and we also have to see how it works in with the existing permissions of the EMs within our forums. So that's the quickie answer.
Cool. So potential to see it in the future, but we got to work out some of the tech details and right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so, will there ever be an actual Stratics app for mobile users? I think I covered that. Yes, there will be. And will vendor search in game ever be linked to Stratics trade forums? So that's a tricky one. Les can probably step in on that. But again, this is an issue where when there has to be, for those kinds of things to happen, there has to be very, very close coordination between Broadsword and Stratics, because those types of features require API. They require actual communication between the Stratics website and the Stratics servers and the Ultima Online server, and that's not a small
Okay.
thing. It's not something that happens lightly. So go ahead, Les.
Yeah. Let me push this for a little bit.
Okay.
There are some other sites. They are not official UO sites or UO fan sites that do have that kind of service. I'm not mentioning those sites. I'm not going to say their names, but they do have that service. And what they do is they actually run a script in UO to go and troll around and get all of whatever every vendor in UO is, or specifically in Luna, what those vendors have on them, and then they throw it up on their website. They script. It's a script thing. That is not something that UO does, because we are officially a fan site for, or that is not something Stratix does. I'm sorry. That is not something that Stratix does, because we are an official UO fan site. So we don't have scripts that run around, have a tune run around and yank everything, all the data down, throw it into a database, put it up on another website, do some coding, blah, blah. Sorry, I mean, a lot of geeky stuff. But we don't do that. We like to keep our official status. So in order to have something like that, such as what Wowhead has that, what we need to do is have an official API built or get the official data from Broadsword. And that is something that Ryan will be talking to Broadsword about. It's not something that we can just do ourselves. We want to keep everything official. We want to have everything, working and getting the accurate data. I know some of those sites, they have like a 2 or 3 hour delay for what is actively on a vendor. And of course, they don't hit all the vendors. My vendors are in New Magencia. I will never show up on those websites. I'm not in Luna. So that's, it takes a lot of geek work, and there has to be a formal relationship between the producer of such a feature as well as the producer of the game. We're hoping that we can work that out with Broadsword. That's Ryan's job. His job. My job is to make it happen. Once he gets an agreement. So that's, we'd like to have, it's a like to have thing, but not something that we can do without really close relationship with Broadsword and any other game producer, Shroud of the Avatar, and all the others.
Yeah.
I'll shut up now.
So
I'm a geek. Can't help it.
The next question comes from Frasia. And the question is, I'd love to, well, some of these are kind of comments as well. I'd love to see a chat option like Facebook. And I'll say that the new community features will have that kind of capability, and it's something that you can, you're going to be happy with the new website, I can say that. So I'd like an update also to the Guild Town community forums, for example, a public wall. again, I'll say that the new website is designed to have that kind of feature, like group walls and individual walls. And lastly, communities and guilds should be able to pay a little more for more forum features. Wish granted. So we're gonna give you lots of features, and now that the Stratics Genie has given you your 3 wishes and is free, we'd like to also thank you, Freja, for setting Stratics free to do those things. So, Longtooths, are there any intentions to create a template for auctions similar to eBay? Will there be ways to report positive and negative activity towards other clients? I think that we kind of covered this in a lot of detail with the previous question. So, again, something that we got to look into and see if it's technically feasible. It's definitely a possibility, but something we're thinking about. Okay. Any intent to have one calendar for EMs? We also, I think you've been talking with our previous community members, so that anyway, we covered that as well. James Moriarty, are there any plans to take on new staff that may be dedicated to another MMO, for example, Arcade? Yeah, Les with the double thumbs up, because absolutely, and if you are one of those people, please reach out to us. So just tell us, what's your interest? What MMO do you play? How do you want to contribute? Do you want to be a mod? Do you want to write? Do you want to stream video games via Twitch? So just let us know. We are always accepting applications, and an application is not a guarantee for hire, but it is, we will always consider applications and try to figure out if there's a place where the community can use your special skill set, and then, to help support some of these other MMOs especially.
I unmuted because I have a small announcement related to staffing up. We need, as always, writers. So if you have an inkling for writing, be it creative writing, news writing, editorial writing, comment writing, opinion writing, by all means, you can PM me on the forums. I'm still kind of managing all of the publishing stuff. You are not limited to writing only about one game. I will tell everybody that, and I hope this is the last time I have to say it. You do not have to write about just one game. If it's not a official game, like for instance Diablo, we don't have forums for Diablo. We don't do, we don't have a special section for Diablo. It don't matter. I like Diablo. So I'll make a post about it periodically, and that will just be, categorized under Stratics. We have categories specific for World of Warcraft, Ultima Online, and a few others. If you write about that game, then it'll be categorized under there. But any other game, by all means, write about it. We love our games. We're gamers. And the forums the same way. We have Stratics Central. You can post about a game there. You don't have to be limited to just what we have a community or sections built on. So for all you people out there, you play, Arcade? By all means. You want to write about Arcade? Send me an application, PM, or even Ryan, just PM us on the Stratics boards, or send the emails to us. Ryan's is ronbraun@stratics.com, mine is kurthag@stratics.com, and we'll get you vetted, and then we'll get you in place, and we'll give you our guidelines, and bam, well, you just go to it. If you don't want to be a staffer, by all means, you can be a contributor. All you have to do is sign a volunteer release. You don't have to worry about NDA or anything, but you can sign a volunteer release, and you can contribute, and our editors will go ahead after you contribute your post or whatever. They'll go over it to make sure it falls into our guidelines, and then bam, they'll publish it. So you want to write for us, you want to contribute to our content, please send us, something. I'm looking for IT geeks. That's like, I'm here and I'm good, but I'm not a goddess, contrary to popular belief on the other side over there. I'm very good at what I do, but of course I have a business to run as well, so I can't be here 24/7. So we are looking for some IT people who are community members. You have to be a gamer. You have to be part of our community. Those are the only real two requirements. Other than having to sign an NDA and everything else, you will become a volunteer staffer. So just if you're a geek, if you know Linux, if you know WordPress, if you know Zanforo, send me a PM. I want to talk to you. Okay? I've already challenged a few people on the forums. It's like, well, if you go ahead, send me a PM and we'll talk. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that.
Awesome. I bet Greg could probably
Go for it,
chime in
Greg.
too. So,
Yeah, with that about bringing on new staff for other games, right now our most active community is Ultima Online. If you're interested in becoming staff, I'm planning on putting up a post with applications to become staff for not only just Ultima Online, but Shroud of the Avatar, and it's going up probably around midnight tonight. What I'd like to see is if you're interested in a game, there's a section on Central for industry buzz and stuff like that. Start making posts. We see enough people wanting to support a game that are willing, and we start getting people wanting to contribute as writers. There wouldn't be a problem about setting up forums, but if you look at their forums the way they are right now, there are dozens of sections for titles that a lot of them haven't had posts in 2 to 3 years. And that's a lot of space on our web server that's just wasted at this point because it's not being used. I mean, they're going to be archived and shifted, but we really need to make sure, in the past where we've tried to create sections and hope to draw people, we're looking at more of getting the community involved by, having them start creating community, and then we support it. So we're here to serve your interests instead of asking you to serve ours.
well put, Greg. Yeah, and also Les. So lots of opportunities at lots of levels. So if you want to get involved, please just send somebody on staff a PM, and we'll make sure it gets to the right spot. So, from Smoot, are there any plans to restore the search features to include the years 2009 until the changeover? I think Les can probably answer that. Yeah.
Okay, we have a lot of historic data. We have a lot of historic information. That is part of what makes Stratics so special is we actually go all the way back to the beginning of Ultima Online in 1997. And we do have data and information and forum posts and articles and guides that go all the way back that far. However, the technology that has all of that is actually kind of, how do I say, it's housed in a very archaic data system, which we cannot implement on our new servers. Because how old that information is and the structure that information is, it provides a bit of a security issue with our host. So what we have to do is we have to pull all of that information out and put it into a newer format. And that's one of our really biggest projects right now. I do have it. It's on a box behind the magic curtain. And I'm just not able to put it up on the web. So as I'm building the new Stratics site, and I'm porting the data, basically ripping it out and copy pasting it into the new format, and testing and tweaking to make sure it's all fine. Some things will be lost, depending on what I can find on the internet. The vast webs is what will be provided. I can tell you text is there. There's all kinds of text. I even found some of my original, news reporter posts all the way back from 1999 and 2000. It's just a matter of putting it into a format that our host won't say, security issue, and making sure it's presentable and searchable for everybody. So that's a work in progress. It's going to take some time, but I can, and we do have the data. I know in the past, I think it was 2004, you guys, when there was the great data crash and we lost news, we lost archives, we lost stories, we lost articles. I mean, totally went poof. But there's this awesome thing called the Wayback Machine that has archived outside, and I'm able to find things there, which is really, really cool. So all of that is slowly going to be put back into the Stratics site and searchable in something that we're calling encyclopedias. So that'll all be there. Hopefully within the next few weeks. Well, not all the data will be there, but the structure will be in place, and then Larissa and Lord Gareth, and not maybe Oscar the Grouch. Maybe I could prod him out of his trash can to help as well. We're going to be moving a lot of that stuff into the encyclopedia so that people can go and squee with joy when they find something they posted back in 2002 or 2001 or even 1997. So that's what makes Stratics so special, is we have this history, and that's something we want to preserve and move and keep as we move into the future. So it'll happen, just not right away. It'll happen.
So Kylie Kinslayer says, would Stratics ever consider making an unmoderated section with less restrictive terms of service and ROC for adults who want to let it all fly? And I think that we've kind of covered this, but in case it isn't clear, the groups that will be available for creation with the new Stratics website are unmoderated groups. Or I shouldn't say unmoderated, they are self-moderated. So if you are part of a the correct level with the Stratics website and can create these groups, premium members, then you can create a group for adults and let it all fly within reason. So as long as it is not overly offensive or illegal, then we will not be getting involved. If it comes to that level, it'll probably just come to the deletion of the group rather than moderating in that way. But this is I think there will be features available for you to to have a more open way of communicating with your friends without us getting involved. So, Andrasta, are you going to restore all the things that were broken with the latest migration and save or protect all the hard work the volunteers done for Stratics, especially the history? And I think Les kind of just covered that. I don't know that we need to say anything more about that unless you have anything else, Les. Okay. And then there was a question that was posted today about whether Stratics would ever be considered the official UO forum. So it's a difficult question to answer. Yeah, go ahead, Les.
Sorry, I was muted. We at a time when Mythic / OSI / EA, I mean, whatever their identity was at the time, when they closed down UO or Myuo, yeah, I think it was Myuo, and they shut down their official forums, they actually passed a lot of stuff over to Stratics. They approached Stratics and said, hey, do you guys want to keep this and manage this for us? So we've got a lot of official UO content. The what was that? I'm brain farting. The UO, somebody help me. It's where all the storyline and stuff was. Like the UO newspaper that they had. We do have that on our site. We have all of that information from, I think at the time it was Mythic. They handed all of that data over to us. And we do have official fan site status. Now, as Broadsword, they're bringing a lot of things. They're coalescing their services. They've already brought back Myuo, which I think is awesome. We can go in and we can search our tunes. We can search other people's tunes. We can pull up the stats and everything, which I think is really, really awesome because I kind of miss that. I miss trying to find a person on a shard. So that's back. And they may be looking at broadening other things. They haven't, I don't think they've brought anything up, have they, Brian? No. In your talks with them in regards to what other services they're going to be bringing back to themselves. But we Stratics as a whole has been honored all these years to hold on to the official UO things. So that's something that Ryan and of course Broadsword people are going to have to talk about, is who's going to be doing what. We do have official status as an official fan site. That is actually where you see our little Stratics button on the UO site. So we're there. They do recognize us as being official, and we love being that. So as we settle on our own services and things that we can offer to game producers, maybe that relationship will broaden. We'll find out. That all depends on things between Ryan and Broadsword.
Yeah, we'll continue, regardless of the direction of Broadsword, we're going to continue supporting the UO community and the forums, and making sure that Stratics provides resources to Ultima Online. And, as Miss Hana and I talk, then we can make sure that we're giving them the right level of support that they want from us. So, okay, so I think that's all the questions we got on the forum. And now I guess I'm not sure if I haven't seen any questions come in the Google Hangout. I don't know if there's been any questions that we ought to field now, but we will open it up to just kind of general discussion. If anybody has anything on their mind they want to suggest, ask about, this would be your opportunity.
Just a note to those of you that are guests here in the Hangout, for security reasons, you can't talk. We're sorry about that. But if you type over in the box over there, you should be able to, just key in your questions or your comments or anything. Even over on the Twitch side, Megadeth, I'm going to acknowledge you. Okay? I am going to acknowledge you because you've been challenging me in that chat. I've just been very, very nice. So, FYI, I play a lot of games. Probably more than I'll ever stream in my lifetime. I've been gaming since I was 12 years old. Maybe not on the computer since 12, but I'm an AD&D person, okay? So, I am a gamer, number one. And number two, geek, as I said over in the Twitch side, we haven't quite gotten our formal organizational structure done yet. We have a lot of holes where staff need to be, so we don't have official titles as such. Ron is our owner. He made that very clear at the beginning of the address. I'm the resident tech, if you want to say that. I've been administering the servers. I had a lot to do with getting everything set up on our servers once we got all of the Stratics files together. I'm working on the WordPress site as well, and I have my own business. That's what I do for a living, is I build and develop websites. So I challenge me all you want. Go for it. I don't mind. I got thick skin. So I just wanted to set that straight. And for anybody else who had questions about, what's your qualifications, Kurzag? Well, I've been doing web administration for about 20-some years. So, if you want to throw me a questionnaire to test my skill level, well, send it to me in the email, kurthag@stratics.com, and I'll see if I'm in the mood to answer. Okay.
So yeah, we do have some awesome staff, and they've kind of proven that they're both dedicated and skilled, and we're always, as Les said, we're always looking for more. We're limited only by how many by the hours in the day and that we have available to devote to growth of the community. So if you want to be on staff and help out with that, we really appreciate it.
Something that I've been thinking about, and I know me and Ryan had talked about it, and a lot of the other people, is with things that have been going on with staff changes on the forums, as far as comments from people. I want to let the people who there were some negative things said, and those are being taken into mind. There are plans to change a lot of things about how we look at the community, from staff side of things. Uh, we're we're going to be making a push to work more with the community, which I know Ryan had mentioned earlier, um, when dealing with situations that may crop up. Because I don't want the staff that we have to get seen as people that you wouldn't want to have a friendly conversation with. I don't want them to be people the community dislike. So, you know, I'll be one of the big things that me and Zuck and Ryan have all we've sat and talked about is ways we can come to a system of training new moderators when they're hired in, so that they become more like leaders and guides for the community than police. And another thing that I'd like to throw out there is I'm also planning of putting up a thing sooner or later, probably on Central, saying, hey, if you got a problem with the staff, this is what I want you to do, and it'll have a list of ways to try to help resolve it. So, like I said, we're really pushing for this more community-oriented thing all the way around, and I thought I'd throw that out there, just if it's some type of reassurance for a few people.
Awesome. Thanks, Ray. I guess, Les, do we have anything else over on the Twitch side? If not, then I think we'll just kind of...
No, there's just been a lot of, if you Twitch, anybody who Twitches a lot, you know that there are people who have some strong opinions, and they tend to put them in a very interesting way. So, yeah, we're all good. I mean, I haven't seen any serious questions that came across. We've got like 15 people who are watching. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate that. Yeah, no real questions or commentary. Okay. So
great. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And again, I'm just going to say we got really exciting stuff coming up. We're also, as staff members, very excited to be serving you and helping to build up the community. So please reach out to us if you want to be a part, and if you have suggestions or whatever. I guess we'll see you inside the games.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, take care.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for coming.